Hello, how you guys doing? In today's video, we are going to talk about one subject, and that subject is was it ever a time North Africa was predominantly black? When I mean North Africa, I mean the whole countries in North Africa, which is predominantly Arab speaking culturally. Now, I'm talking about Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, and Libya, and then to an extent Mauritania, and Sudan. So excluding Sudan, just this core North African countries. It was there a time. It was a homogeneous society. The answer is no. There was never a time North Africa was predominantly black. Because you see, neo-black movement in the West, in America mostly, they show you pictures where the North Africans of today are invaders. They kick black Africans out, and that's not completely true. Actually, it's 1 to 100 is like about less than 10%. It is not homogeneous, but a heterogeneous society. Heterogeneous means a collective difference of race. In those days and now, there is not much difference, because you got to understand that first, before you understand where I'm coming from. What is Arab? As I said in my previous video, Arab is an identity. Is an ethnicity. It's an ethnicity, and in that ethnicity, it have emerged into different form of ethnicity. Because Arabs represent 250 million population in Africa. For example, let me use Egypt for example. There was never a time Egypt was predominantly black. No, that was never. It is admixture of different. Like you see, people with dark skin from Sudan, Nubian, that's southern Egypt, and people that have Arabian genetics, mixing. Over the years, the population become what it is today. So, was there a time when population of people from Arab came to North Africa? Yes, during the Islamic expansion. Some of them were being persecuted. Some of them left Arabia and moved to northern Africa, the Mediterranean side. You understand? There is a different time in the history that population changed, but at the same time, it still maintained the heterogeneous entity that represent the whole North Africa. So some North Africans, some of them are a little bit of black, sub-Saharan black, European genetics, and Arabian genetics. So majority of them are. So even Arab identity, Arab as ethnicity is not even homogeneous. Like it's not homogeneous. Like the same way my tribe is Igbo. We are homogeneous because there have never been a mixture of, we are still pure. I don't know if it might sound offensive, but there's some ethnic group that are still pure. That has never been, but Arab is not like that. Not all people that speak Arab in Northern Africa are Arabs. You see, so people don't know that. Like the Berbers, for example, they have mixed with Arabs, Sub-Saharan Africa, all that stuff. So, but at the end of the day, it is Arab. So Arab is, okay, let me put it like this. Arab is what English is now. English is an ethnicity. But over the years, what it means to be English changed. So the same thing is what is going on in Arab. So the point of making this video is to change the narrative. If you are a neo black content creator, promoter of everything black and all that stuff in the West, like a lot of them are, there is nowhere in history North Africa was predominantly black. Never, never. I know some of you will disagree with me, some of you will agree with me, but my dad, he's a fan of his history because he studied history. He told me there was a time North Africa have blacks in it. He have that same theory, but he never said it instead. It was he with the information he knows then. But why I would disagree with him a little bit because he passed away, but he's so rest in peace. The update he have then, I went further because one thing you gotta understand in life is that parents want their sons and daughters to be better than them. So where my dad stopped, I continued to do my research where he stopped. So I kind of realized that there was still blacks, like traditionally, they in northern Africa, in the Mediterranean side, there were before the Islamic invade, the demographic in northern Africa was still similar. The Berbers have the same skin color like Arabs, but it's ethnically different because you got to understand that the role ethnicity plays in these things. But people will tend to focus on the race part of it. So majority of Arabs have European genetics, sub-Saharan genetics, and then the Middle East or Arabian genetics. So this is because of thousands of years of migration and mingling, and the whole thing changed. So then generally now all of them are under one umbrella as Arab. But what is it to be Arab? It's not a race, because if you look at it from a race, there's nobody that is fully Arab. But the only thing that unites all of them is the language, Arab. So but ethnically they are not homogeneous. You see, so let me repeat again, the point of making this video is there was never a time North Africa was predominantly black. It's been like that. There's a sizable amount of black population that under different ethnic groups. Some of those ethnic groups don't even exist anymore. You gotta understand that the same way, for example, in India, the Cherokee Indians, some of the ethnic groups you have in India, in America before the American expansion, some of them don't even exist anymore. So the same thing in that part of Africa. So I am probably missing a lot in this conversation. If I have to go further, it would take a long time. But the problem is that, the note is that I'm trying to, remove the idea that somehow there was a time in history North Africa is predominant. No, and it plays into another one thing I want to point out. Africa is not a race. It's not a racial continent. Africa is a continent. The same way you view Asia as a continent, the same way you view. So I hate when you talk about Africa, the first thing you talk about is black people. Yes, Africa have advanced that past stage. It's majority black. You should have that. I'm not gonna say you shouldn't have the idea that it's black, because the reason why I'm gonna say this is that why is it that when a non-looking black person say they are black, they are from Africa, I mean to say, people are start attacking them racially, say you are invaders and And don't get me wrong, they do it to black people in Europe too. When a black person in Europe says, I'm Italian, they say go back to Africa. So it goes both ways. But we need to pass that stage. Continent is a continent. Whoever comes from that continent comes from that continent. If conversation turns to race, then we can discuss that. But we shouldn't focus too much on the racial aspect of individuals when they're talking about where they're coming from. A white person there's white people that are 4th-generation white people in Zimbabwe. They have never lived anywhere in the world. 4th generation, I'm talking about 400 years. White people. So if they tell you they are African and you get upset, you see, you're not African, you're European. Then if a 3rd or 4th generation black person in UK say they are UK or British or European, they say go back to Africa. So both sides are playing the same game. So without going off topic, back to the reason why I'm making this video. North Africa is not a homogeneous place. You know, it's heterogeneous. I think I'm using the word rightly, and Arab identity is not ethnically inclined. No, Arab identity is more of the language and the cultures around the language. But if you're looking at Arab people based on genetics, they are all over the place. You know, there's some ethnic groups in Africa that are still pure. Majority of them are pure, you know. But Arab, due to the where it's located at, literally in the center of the world, basically, facing Europe, Mediterranean, facing Europe, facing Asia, facing Africa. So for thousands of years, the Berbers, this amazigh, everybody intermixture. So there's nobody that said they are Arab, you know, and then if you check their DNA, they have 100% Arab makeups or Arab features. None in the North Africa. So yeah, it's been like that. So there was never a time, you know, in conclusion, there was never a time Africa is predominantly, North Africa is predominantly black. There's never a time. And then immigrating have been a thing in Africa for thousands of years. Nobody, the Bantu people, the same thing, expanded all the way to southern part of Africa. From Nok civilization, Cameroon, moved to, spread all the way to southern and east coast of Africa. So migration had been a thing throughout Africa for tens of thousands of years, and the same thing was happening in the north. So yeah, that concludes the video. And then I didn't add the religious makeup of all other things. Maybe time comes I will share. I might be missing a couple of things, but the main reason why I'm making it, I think I have driven it close to home. So if you have anything you want to share or you want to add, or if you disagree with me, leave your thoughts in the comment section. All right, that's the video for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, and then see you guys on the next one.